Welcome. It's 2021. Are you ready? I am ready. Listen, I'm so excited. January 7th, 2021. We are in the house. We got a very, very special guest. Okay. I don't even know what to say. I mean, this man's like a superhero to us. All right. I mean, this man, by day, like Clark Kent, but by night, like Spider-Man. And I know that's kind of out, but you guys, I'm telling you, this brother, he is so creative. And tonight we're talking about your gifts will make room for you. And, and that's what I really think is so important. 2020 was a very interesting year. And you can type in the chat box where you're watching from, because we always like to see who's here. I want to say thank you. Welcome to our first episode of 2021. My goodness. And listen, 2020, type it in the chat box. What do you feel about 2020? What did you learn from 2020? What's your one word from 2020? Let's do that. Type in the chat box. What is your one word for 2020? The reason why is because for me, my one word is still. Be still. Be still. I think COVID-19, that's one of the things that really helped me just, really understand, like, wow, all the chaos, all the things being turned upside down, but then to just be still. So what is your one word? And we got Ruth Bell here. Happy New Year, Ruth Bell in the house, okay? And Dr. Benita Harris, Happy New Year, Charlotte, North Carolina. So what is your one word? Type it in the chat box from 2020. Okay, and the reason why I'm asking is because we're going to talk about what your one word from 2020 was, but also what is your one word for this decade? It's one thing to talk about New Year's resolutions. It's another thing to talk about, boom, hey, where am I going to be 9 years from now? And here's my premise. Here's what I really believe. I believe this will be the greatest decade of your life so far. The 2020s will be the best decade of your life so far. And so what is the word from 2020? But more importantly, what is your vision for this decade? And that's the power. And then, tonight we have a very special guest to kick off this 2021 series. Because, it's one thing to get stuck in the past. It's another thing to say, you know what? I'm going to move forward. I'm going to take it to the next level. And I'm so excited because I'm telling you, Brad is in the house as always. And we got Mark and we got Alice Martin. Dedication, that's powerful. Dedication, right? So what's your one word? What are you taking as your one word? Because again, words are power. So let's go ahead and bring Tony Jackson up and see how he's doing and find out what his one word is. Tony, how are you?
Hey. I'm doing well, man. 2021, here we come. Like a storm. I love it, man. I'm so excited, man. And when you think about it, you say one word.
Yes.
One word for 2021. It's hard to have just one, but perseverance, man.
Okay.
Perseverance. And perseverance to me, it not only honors where we've come from through 2020, but it tells me what I need going forward. And we're going to persevere through some things, right? Because life has its challenges. We don't think just because we stepped into 2021 that we're not going to have challenges. But guess what? We've overcome them by the word of our testimony, because if it had not been for the God, if it had not been for the Lord by my side, I would have lost it in May or June of 2020. But because of his love and his grace for me, I persevered. You persevere. Our listeners persevere. And now we stand here today on what was the January 7th, right? Today is January 7th. And what does 7 mean? It means the number of completion. And so now we're ready, brother. We're ready to continue with our show. Man, I can't believe I missed doing this the last couple of weeks because of the holidays. But that's my word, man. That's my word. Perseverance, man. And I want to encourage everyone who's listening. We see Dr. Harris, Ruth Bell, Brad, Mark Dixon, Alice Martin. Start a watch party. Start a watch party on your Facebook, because we're about to blow this thing up, man. We're about to not literally, right? Not like what happened. I won't even go there. But we are about to blow this thing up. Ruth Bell said faith. What do you think about that? That's her word. It's faith. Man, love it.
Exactly.
Love it.
Exactly. Faith is powerful. I mean, just knowing that today, regardless of the challenges, tomorrow's another day. Faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so it's, think about it. The faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? Substance, right? Substance. And the evidence of things not seen. I always looked at that as like, how you see a tree blowing in the wind? You can't really see the wind, but you see the evidence of the wind. Right. And so I want to say thank you, because that faith is powerful. And, Brad said resilience. So, we're seeing a lot, right? Perseverance, resilience, dedication, faith, because your word is your word, right? And death and life are in the power of the tongue. So you got to hold on to that, because you're right, Tony. December 31st to January 1st, boom. I mean, it's just a calendar day.
Right.
But the mindset. And that's why, again, I'm all about, 2021's here. But what about this decade? What about the decade, Tony? I mean, really, Tony Robbins always talks about, we underestimate, right, what we can do in a decade, and we overestimate what we can do in a year. So, have you thought about that? 9 years from now, where will you be? Right. I mean, I looked at this, my daughter says she wants to be a doctor. So I was like, wow, 9 years, she'll be going into her first year of medical school. My son, be in college, sophomore in college. Right. And so I was like, wow, look at this. It's happening. It will happen. Right. 9 years from now. Just looking at it and then really claiming and saying, OK, where do I want to be 9 years from now? What's going to be my reality, right? And that to me is the power, right? Stephen Covey, I know you've read the book, right? One of the phenomenal, I love it, is focus with the end in mind.
Right. Begin with the end in mind. Yeah.
Right, man. So that's the power, man.
When we're planning, man, it's not a matter of planning for, like you said, it's not a matter for planning for 2021, but where do you want to be in this next year? What do you want to accomplish? What are your short-term goals, short-term tasks, things that you get there? And then in that intermediate range, right? 5 years, where do you want to be? And then where do you want to be in 10 years? And ultimately, man, when you think about it, 10 years can go by so fast. I mean, before you know it, it's gone, man. My wife and I were talking, and before we know it, man, we've been in Charlotte, 7 years.
Right.
A couple months, and it's just like, man, where did that time go? It went by so fast. And and so those are the types of things. You're right. It's not a matter of planning for this next year, but what things am I doing? What things I'm putting in place that's going to reap the reward in 10 years from now?
Right.
And then even for the next generation, for you mentioned Jade. I mean, talking about being a doctor, 9 years, she'll be in her first year of medical school, man. And you're gonna be, pulling your hair out, bro. Medical school and all that good stuff. But it's just setting those standards and what we want to accomplish and then just going for it. And so that's what it's all about, brother. That's what it's all about. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the new year. But like you said, man, it's a whole decade. It's a whole decade. And so I'm excited about this decade of my life and what that's going to look like.
Yeah. There you go, man. I think, today's guest, really, your gifts will make room for you. And, if we can put that slide up on the screen, I think that this really sets the tone for making this the greatest decade. Your gifts will make room for you. Look at that. January 7th, 2021. And so your gifts will make room for you. So let's unpack that, Tony, before we bring our guests up.
For me, man, again, it being, foundational and God and scripture and how your gifts will make room for you. What that says to me is that you don't have to force your way into anything. You don't have to go in kicking down the doors. You don't have to go in putting yourself up on a pedestal. You don't have to hate others in order to love yourself.
Hmm.
But really, the fact that your gifts will make room for you is really, to me, saying that the gifts and talents that God has given you is for a purpose, and God is not going to waste that purpose. Now you can derail it by, I often say that God's waiting for our actions to catch up with our anointing, right? He's waiting for our actions to catch up with our anointing. But when we can operate in the gifts that God gave us, like I know what my gifts are, I know what my gifts aren't, and if I stay in my lane, then my gifts will make room for me. There's be plenty of opportunity. God will bring people in my life. God will bring opportunities in my life. God will do those things, and I trust him with it, right? I trust him that my gifts will make room for me. And so that's, for me, that's what it really means. And then seeing that operate and see that actually take place in other people's lives is so rewarding, in my kids' life and in my grandkids, and just seeing how they're growing and how they're accomplishing things on their own, in their own accord, right? And so, as much as we would like to, hang on to them, but seeing them grow and prosper and do their things, I think is really kind of something special. And so, but I believe it. And it's interesting that that's our title tonight, because my pastor, who was very, very dear to my heart, Pastor A.P. Williams in Jackson, Michigan, used to always tell me that. He said, "Son, your gifts will make room for you." And so that's pretty powerful for me, man. That means a whole lot. Just to say those words.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I mean, when we came up with the title, Chris and I were just talking, and it's like, wow, what would be the title of the show? And so I didn't know that had that much significance to you, right?
Yeah.
And it's really for all of our viewers, I'd love for you to write down, what are some of your gifts? What are some of your gifts? I think it's one thing to say, yeah, your gifts will make room for you, but what are some of your gifts? I love what, Donna Maria has written up there. She said, God is waiting for our actions to catch up with our anointing, right? I mean, think about that. God's waiting on us. He's given us dominion. He's given us blessings. He's given us gifts and talents. It's a matter of us believing and walking in it. In it. So type in the chat box, what are some of your gifts? Let us celebrate with you. And there's no, a lot of times people think, oh, I'm being arrogant, I'm being conceited. But no, man, you're blessed. You're blessed.
My thing, Marlon, is if you know that God gave it to you and you give him the credit for giving it to you.
Sure.
Now you're not being boastful. You're just saying, hey, listen, it's not me, but it's him who's in me. Right. Because greater is he that's in you than he that is in the world, right? So it's not that I am, it's love, man, is not arrogant when you realize where the love comes from.
Right.
And, I used to be so confused about that in churches, like, people said, well, I love God because he first loved me. And I was like, well, wait a minute, shouldn't you love him first? But the reality is that he did first. He loved us first.
Right.
And so I love what I'm hearing in what I'm seeing in the chat box, right? Dr. Bonita Harris says encouragement, exhortation, legacy driven said communications. One of your brother, y'all had an anniversary the other day. So we want to say happy anniversary to all the noobs out there. And so, those are, those gifts that God has given us is just, and when you operate in your gift, man, it energizes you. Donna, look what she said. Her gifts is friendliness, business acumen, warm spirit, administration, right? So that's an awesome list, man. That's awesome. Right. I hire her, man, because she's got an awesome list, right? Love that.
Yeah, no joke. Donna Maria is no joke for sure. And
so, what are you? What are your gifts, man? What what do you find? What's your gifts?
Well, I think one, a lot of my friends have told me over the years that my sincerity, just being very sincere, and also my positive outlook. When I go through trials and tribulations, like all of us, I just have this belief that all things work for the good, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I go through it. I hurt, I bleed, I cry, but just knowing that, tomorrow's gonna be a better day. And, and so that's that. And then I think the number 3 is the fact that I'm a connector. I really believe in helping others and connecting people. And so that's what I would say, my sincerity, my positivity, and my commitment to connecting people. So yeah, thanks for asking, Tony, because it's really beautiful when you can celebrate, just who you are, right? I mean, we get so much negativity in the world, and to be able to come into this space and just be able to say, yo, these are some of my gifts. And I'm very grateful, ultimately to have, my number 1 relationship is with God, and, and accepting Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and, reading the Bible, and, just to, these are scriptures right here, that I go through every day, and, so, I mean, this is real talk. I mean, it's probably about 75 different scriptures in here, and, every day, and it just allows me to get anchored, because I'm telling you, life it can be challenging. But again, when you put the word of God, to your situation, life has a new meaning. And, and again, it's being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so that, for me is really powerful. So, I'm excited. So, make room for your gifts. And the man that we're going to bring up on stage is somebody who, we both know, and very, grateful, to know him. Right. I mean, young man is, really, for us in particular, Tony, I mean, we've been doing, our programs, our legacy wealth programs. We've been very blessed. And then, COVID-19 hit, and, this man, just, arrived, and so why don't you go ahead and make the intro?
It's funny, because I thought you were about to say, well, you and I, we kind of old.
I ain't old.
I ain't old either, brother. But man, here's the thing about this, about Chris, and it's so fitting for what we're talking about, because he has some remarkable gifts. And they're so different than Marlon and I's gifts in terms of creativity and being able to do some things. But this young man, I've known now for, I guess maybe 7 years now. And I've seen him grow, and I've seen him mature, and I'm seeing him walk in his gifts. And when you see someone that begins to walk in their gift, and you see that, it's so very special. And as Marlon said, we are very blessed to have him be a part of this movement that we call the Real Money Coach. And it's a movement, folks. And we want you to be a part of that movement. And you are a part of that movement just by tuning in here every Thursday night. Thank you. And I know that even you guys are right back here, even after taking 2 weeks off, because, so often you take some time off, people don't come back, or it takes a while, and you guys are right back here. And so we thank you for that. But we're very, very blessed. And he does so much behind the scenes, very rarely comes on the camera. But we wanted to start 2021 off by having him in front of the camera tonight. Have him in front of the camera, just as we're setting the stage and we're setting the tone for this year. And I think it's so appropriate that your gift will make room for you, because I think that's why he's here, and that's why God sent him here, and that's why we're doing some of the things that we're doing that we possibly couldn't do without him. So without any further ado, and if I could do a drum roll, I do a drum roll, but without further ado, let's bring on CJ the Gifted, otherwise known as Chris Jackson II. Come on, Chris and Marlon. There we go.
Hey, there he is.
There we go.
No.
All right.
So how you feeling, Chris?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It feels a little weird being on this side of the production tonight, but I'm good. I can't complain.
Hey, man, we're grateful to have you on, brother. You know, as Tony said, I ditto what he said. You know, man, you've been a blessing and, you know, really an answered prayer. And, you know, I think, you know, when you walk by faith, you know, you kind of just, man, you know, God blesses, right? And so it's just so great to have you on, brother. So Chris, tell us a little bit about, you know, you're from Michigan. You know, that's the thing that all three of us have. You know, I wasn't born there, but my dad was born there. Okay, so I claim it. Okay, but you know, man, you know, tell us a little bit about you, bro.
I mean, yeah, I'm a Flint native. Born and raised in Flint, Michigan.
Right.
Went from there to I moved to East Lansing after I graduated high school. I'm not gonna put my age out there, but after I graduated, I moved to East Lansing. Did some college years around there. Worked my way into radio.
And what school? What school?
So I was dual enrolled in a program with the community college in Michigan State.
And Michigan what?
Michigan State University.
The Michigan State.
Right.
Okay.
The Michigan State University.
Okay. Y'all really want to go there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Golly. Hey, that was just happened to be sitting on my desk. We had to go there, okay? So we just
right. And look, for our visitors who are just coming, you know, Tony and Chris, they got this little, you know, fun rivalry, you know, going on between Michigan State and University of Michigan. So that's why I had to have Chris
say stuff to find. Where you can't even find any Michigan State stuff when it comes down to the wire. They always choke at the line.
He caught me slipping. It's okay. He caught me slipping.
Yeah. Be all ready.
So look, man. So okay, Michigan State. I must have started this right. I just asked the question, right? but so at Michigan State, though, Chris, seriously, man, you know, a lot of students, you know, I don't know, 30, 40,000 probably, but you know, you were in, I think you said film, broadcasting. Was that the classes? What was your class? What was your focus?
Well, I was in school actually for communications. But I mean, all throughout, you know, high school, when I graduated high school, my senior year, I participated in a national competition held by the NAACP called AXO.
Oh yeah.
And that's when it really hit me, like, man, like maybe I should really do something with performing arts, because I mean, middle school, starting from elementary, middle school, high school, I was always doing something within creative and performing arts. But then my senior year is really when it hit me, like, man, like you could really do something with the talent of being skilled in multiple ways. And when I went to that national convention in Houston, Texas, they paid for me to go down. Wow. And that's really what woke me up with it. And I mean, once I went to East Lansing, made my way to East Lansing throughout college, I didn't necessarily want to study, you know, performing arts or theater or anything like that. But I still wanted to do something where I could use my personality as a career field, and communications I felt was the thing for that. But I mean, pretty much as I was working my way through that, it was like, all right, the jobs that comes from communications ain't really the type of jobs that I'm really be able to, you know, use my skills and my talents with. And then that's when as I started meeting more people on State's campus, started to get more involved with the student organizations and things of that sort. I started to find this building called Com Arts. And to make a long story short, I made the Com Arts building at Michigan State like my second home when I was around there.
Wow, man. That's awesome.
You know, one of the things that I appreciate about Chris is because sometimes you run into people who know technical, right? They're technical, and he knows the technical side of things. Sometimes we talk about that stuff, and I just look at him and I said, you know, I don't know what you're talking about, right? but he's also creative. I mean, even our logo, there's so many people that talk about the Real Money Coach logo, and he created that logo. And so he's got a creative mind as well as technical. And you don't find a lot of people that can operate on both sides of those tracks. So, right. Chris, how does that all mesh for you? You know, that's a unique talent, I think.
So I mean, it really pretty much ties back to my senior year in high school. Is really when I started getting woken up. I was working with this brand called Nobody Big Yet. With nobody big at it, it was a poetry movement. And with just the name in itself, I saw so much more in it. And with the skills that I was able to provide that brand at the time, I was able to, start marketing that brand, and it started reaching a wider reach from just the community in Flint. And then we ended up actually connecting with Eric Thomas with that, and that's what started my introduction with E. And from there, I mean, just being affiliated with everything that was going on, seeing how different things could make money, to be honest, like how the stuff can start making money rather than just doing it for fun and doing it because I like it. And once I
we ain't no shame, man. We talk about money on the Real Money Coach. So
yeah, so, I mean, the stuff that I was doing for that brand at the time, I mean, it started opening up other doors, and then those doors just exposed me to stuff that I wasn't really even paying attention to. And then I mean,
I want you to explain, because a lot of people may not know. I see Legacy got it, but when you said E, who you talking about?
Eric Thomas, the #1 motivational speaker in the world.
Right. So the street preacher, right?
The hip hop preacher, yes, sir.
The hip hop preacher. There you go. The hip hop preacher. So that's awesome. Did you get a chance to work with somebody of that magnitude? And so I think that's pretty awesome to be able to do that. So you did a few other things, right? I mean, you were on the radio and doing some DJing.
Yeah, DJing, graphic designing, videography, photography. Like the Nobody Big Yet brand is really what launched off, I'm gonna say, a beast, because we needed so much and we didn't have the funds at the time. We were just kids in Flint that just wanted to do stuff. And then at that time, like I'm doing everything to just, at the time, I didn't know it was marketing, but I'm doing all of this stuff that's marketing these events. And then just over the years throughout college, I'm DJing events, trying to figure out how can I make myself stand out amongst the other DJs. Oh, boom. The promoters need flyers for the events. Then that turned into outside of that, me pushing myself even further as a DJ. I needed content for myself, photo shoots, video, like all types of stuff. And as I was doing it for myself, other people started to ask me, like, yo, who did you hire to do this? Who did you hire to do that? And it was like, well, I did it myself, Right. And then that's really, I mean, I'm gonna say it just took the hold of my last name. I'm a Jackson, so I pretty much a jack of all trades. I'm a master of some. No, we're gonna change that. Jack of all trades, master of some.
Yeah. I love that. Jack of all trades, master of some. I love it. Love it. That's good. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So, Chris, I think that, what I'm hearing you say, and, again, for our viewers is, again, your gifts will make room for you. You really tapped into your passion, and that is so powerful, because your passion just, it excites, right? And like you said, okay, boom, I did the DJing. Then I got to do, promotional flyers. Right. But it was your passion that evolved. The circle expanded. And I think that's one of the things that's so important for all of our viewers to really understand that, what are you passionate about? What are you really excited about? What would you do for free? Right. There was a book said, what would you do for free? And do what you would do for free, and the money will follow. And so let's talk about that, Chris. I mean, because now, because I know you've shared with me how, because you did things with so much passion as a student, your professors started taking notice of you, right? And they really were like, wow, and the professors at Michigan State, they kind of took notice of you, and they were like, man, this guy, he's just not a regular student. So again, when you're passionate about what you do, man, you will just, like, it's not work. It's almost like your work is your play. And I think that's something that's really powerful. So how did we, I know Michigan State, is, the bomb.com. And so, but then you said, hey, I'm going to move to North Carolina and open up shop. And so, you came to North Carolina, to Charlotte, just knowing a few people, and you had your business and your idea. And so how did you, because a lot of people, you think about, man, you left your comfort zone to come to another state, and, wow, a lot of people don't want to ever step outside their comfort zone. So talk to us about, how has it been, creating and getting established as a business owner in another state? Can you unbreak that?
Yeah, man. Oh, would you look at there? Hold on one second. Let me get that out the way. All right. So um it was pretty much, man, having faith. I mean, when I left Michigan, I was a radio personality full time, Monday through Friday, 6 to 10. I had a screen printing company, and then COVID kicked off at the beginning of last year. Around this time, I mean, everything was normal. We was hearing about it around this time last year,
Sure.
but a couple weeks into it, you start hearing more and more about it, and then eventually everything started shutting down. So then at the radio station, they gave us these pieces of paper. And it was like, yo, you actually, keep this on you, because if you get pulled over after curfew, you're gonna have to pretty much just show that you're coming from work, and so on and so forth. And I got nervous. I got scared. I'm gonna be honest. I got scared because I traveled down to Charlotte often, because this is where my son is. And I've traveled here often. And when I got that piece of paper, it was like, yo, like, what if, like, all the what ifs just started going off, and it was always a thought of mine. Well, not even a thought. It was a goal of mine to get here, so that I could be a part of his life, on a day-to-day basis. And when COVID kicked off, like with everything that was happening with the station, business just stopped with the screen printing. It was like, yo, this is the opportunity for you to just, go down there and use the skills that you have, because I mean, honestly, it's a bigger market to work here. With the skills that I have, and it's more. I was looking at it as it's just more opportunity for me to go and continue to spread my wings. I wasn't scared to leave Flint, and when I left Flint, I seen what I was capable of making happen. So I mean, after I analyzed the situation and I looked at what did I have to lose, leaving where I was at, it was like, I mean, you did it once before, you can do it again. And I mean, I had people praying for me too. I'm gonna be honest, it was people praying for me, so I knew I was gonna be all right.
That's
Well,
it.
I think, when you make a move like that, and even, I talked about, we've been here 7 years. When you make a move like that, it's so similar. We knew one person when we moved here, and I hung on to Genesis 12:1. It says, get thee out of that country and away from that kindred to a land I'll show you. And sometimes we just don't know the blessings that may be waiting for us when we just take that leap of faith. Right. And but it's not always easy. It doesn't, people think it's just going to happen automatically and it'll be easy, but it's not always an easy thing to do, because you're leaving everything you do. You're talking about growing up in Flint. You're talking about being, at that other school up in East Lansing. You talk about being on the radio, and then going to, somewhat of an unknown territory. And, it takes courage to do that. Yeah. And then, and the way we do business in the Carolinas is much different in a lot of ways they do business in Michigan, and just getting acclimated to all that. So, I mean, I just want to say just hats off to you for making that leap of faith. And, and there's great things in store. So tell me, Chris, I'm interested to know that there's somebody who got in our chat box named Chris Jackson, said, awesome young man, so proud of you. I don't know if you know him or not, but I heard he's like a firefighter or something, but he just put that in the chat box. So, but tell us, where do you see you going? Tell us about the business, the name of the business, and where you see it going, and who's your ideal client?
So yeah, once again, man, it started off as a production company, with me being a DJ, with me being on radio, doing live events, concerts, corporate events, other private events. That work pretty much shut down when COVID kicked off. But when COVID kicked off as well, something else launched when everybody needed to still be able to get in contact or just do things to stay intact with their audience, with their customer. And I mean, with me being a millennial, pretty much being born into this internet thing, and knowing things, I didn't. That's something else. Some other gifts, I guess, all millennials have that. I guess not everybody really taking advantage of it. Is we were really gifted with just coming in through the internet, because it's a lot of things that we do naturally, or just out of second nature, just because we've done it for so many years, that a lot of people, find difficult to do. So with me being a millennial, with me having that background in production and just being a part of events and things of that sort, and marketing and graphic design, everything just tied into each other. And so with that, throughout COVID, pretty much I've been producing virtual events, and I've been getting some real serious phone calls lately, and that pretty much pushed me to launch off a new business, a new company. a new company, rather. It's same business as virtually, but it's a new company that I've launched, and it's Stream Tech Pro. And pretty much with Stream Tech Pro, we serve everybody. To be honest, rather if you're a small entrepreneur that's looking to do an event where you would typically, rent out a conference room at a hotel, or if you're a large company organization that puts on these conferences or festivals, and you still want to continue to do those things in the midst of COVID and in a COVID safe environment, socially distancing, doing it virtually pretty much is what I'm trying to get at. I'm also able to cater to those scales and service those as well. So it's pretty much anybody who's looking to do anything virtual and staying in contact with your clients, your clientele, and your audience that I'm servicing with Stream Tech Pro.
Wow. And so, Chris, what's been most rewarding for you? As an entrepreneur, one of the things that we always talk about is everyone should have their own business, even if it's part-time. And so, you as a millennial, what has been most rewarding, for you? I mean, I know you have a variety of clients and you're very creative. And, I'm assuming that, when you take an idea and you through your skills, your gifts, your talents, and you bring it to fruition, I'm sure that's priceless. When you have that client be like, oh my God, wow, you made it happen, man. Thank you. I mean, how does that make you feel when you help a client bring his or her dream to reality?
To be honest, I love it. That fulfillment started with my grandma Daisy at a young age. Like I remember, like I'm talking like 8, like before I even hit double digits. I remember going to I don't even know what to call this place, but we would give out food to the less fortunate. And as a kid, like I would put them groceries or whatever it was in a basket, and I'd be like, dang, I'm really helping somebody eat, or like just to see the joy that they had, knowing that they were going to be able to eat that night. Like it made me feel good as an individual. So as I grew up, I mean, I just always like entertaining and bringing joy to people's lives. And that was, my joy behind the entertainment thing, being a class clown in high school, going into, I guess, this marketing phase now with people knowing that they have this idea and this vision and this goal that they want to hit, to be able to listen to them, hearing what they want, seeing the things that they like, and bringing that to life. It's very fulfilling to know that, especially like when I see it and people are like, oh my God, like it's a very fulfilling feeling for myself to bring joy to somebody else.
And I know from personal experience, some of the things that you do, to you, it just seems like it's just, second nature. To me, I'm like, man, that's just amazing to bring things together like that. And I imagine, I'm just co-signing on what you just said. I imagine it could be really fulfilling, because so often what we do in the financial industry, we won't necessarily see the results of that in our lifetime because it's generational things and all that type of thing. But to be able to see a project from start to finish and see that vision come true. And I know there's been a number of occasions where you've done that for us, where here it is, I trust you, right? So I'm like, man, here is the content, you make it happen. And there's not a lot of people that have that type of talent, I think, that can take someone else's vision and bring it to life. And so kudos. I mean, I think we talk about extreme gifts. I mean, that's one of yours for sure. So
it's funny that it even happens with the virtual event side. Like a client will call or they'll reach out and ask, is this even possible? And I'm sitting back like, I mean, yeah, it is. Just keep telling me whatever you want. And I'm telling you, the things that you're talking, I know for a fact I can make it happen. And to do a virtual event and then to talk to the client during the follow-up and hearing the excitement that they so glad that it went well. And, all of it's, once again, my gifts making more room for me, because once I finish one event, it's literally more phone calls that's following up after that. And that's on the event side as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things too is he don't get rattled, Marlon. He don't get rattled. I mean, I think even us, man, you in his one ear, I'm in his other ear.
Right.
He doesn't get rattled.
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, you go ahead, brother.
I was gonna, that I think me doing live virtual events like the concerts and all of the big scaled events where it's actual physical people there and all of the yelling and everything that's going on, I think that was preparing me for these moments now. Because I mean, now, I mean, it's only two of y'all I got to hear, you know, with the ideas rather than everybody that's at the event, from the promoters to the guests that's just attending, screaming and yelling and trying to make sure that the production goes on and everything. So I think that phase, that prepared me for what I'm doing now. Literally, I got to stay calm and see it through, make sure that everything happens.
You know, one of the things, Chris, I also would love for you to talk about is the fact of how, you know, again, your gifts will make room for you, right? And so, boom, you know, we launched this Real Money Coach. You know, our first virtual program was on April 2nd, 2020. And as a result of that, you then, because of the exposure, right? Because you did things with excellence. And I think that's one of your themes, man. You know, when you were in Michigan State, you know, you did things with excellence, right? You know, I mean, you were sharing with me how, you know, you would arrive early, you would stay late, because again, it was your passion, you were excited, right? You were in your play, but your gifts will make room for you. And, you know, from this exposure, from you doing things with excellence, you know, can you just share some of the other clients that have, you know, come about as a result of you doing things with excellence with, you know, the Real Money Coach, and how, boom, I mean, you know, just share with us, because I want the audience to know how valuable it is when you do things with excellence, because your gifts will make room for you, right? You know, people will start talking about you, people will come after you, and, you know, so please share a little bit about that.
So, I mean, I'm at the point now. I got clients in Michigan. I got clients here in North Carolina. Which clients are you referring to? Are the ones from COVID?
You got also clients in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
Atlanta, right?
You got people over in California that want to work with you.
Okay. Since COVID, since COVID, I've had the opportunity to work with communities and schools, which is a nonprofit organization throughout the entire state of the United States. They had a virtual event that they did. That I produced. YBLA, Young Black Leadership Alliance, is another organization that they work with the youth. They're going to be nationwide. They got a nice range with the students, pretty much from high school, I believe they're junior year of high school, to moving on to college years. They do some amazing stuff. The Real Money Coach, of course, is one that I've seen from the beginning. I've worked with a company out of Atlanta called Oprah Speaks, another motivational speaker. I've even done work with Wins, and then as far as California, Janice Edwards, I believe her name is reaching out to do some work. And then I've actually got a phone call recently due to another event that I did at the end of December, and it's I'm not gonna put the digit out there, but it's gonna be the largest contract that I've gotten since COVID. And that's with the company that pretty much they connect their celebrities with the fans, and they're looking to do a virtual festival, and that one has come in the midst of COVID as well. So,
and then on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, you're doing something at Central Piedmont Community College, right? CPCC.
Yes,
yeah,
yeah. So yeah, you know, again, I just wanted to have our audience understand, you know, this is your real case scenario of what's possible as far as your gifts will make room for you. But you have to do things with excellence, because, you know, I always believe, you know, the door of opportunity, yes, God will give us a blessing, but we got to walk through it. We got to walk through it. And I think that's what you've done, because, you know, you are a man that says, you know what, I want to do things with excellence. I want to be a blessing to others. I want to see that smile. I want to see other people just like light up as a result of what I'm bringing to them to make their dream come to fruition. So, you know, that's powerful, man. You know, that's amazing.
Here's the thing, man, that we have to realize, and this is for everybody out there, is that if you chase excellence, money will chase you. You don't have to chase money, but if you chase excellence, you won't be able to get out of the way of money. And, you know, we believe in putting yourself in the path of money. And it's not that money is the tell-all, be-all, right? Because money, I think Les Brown says money can't buy you happiness, but it puts a good down payment on it. But I think that's what Les Brown says. But But the thing about it is, if you chase excellence, everything that you want in life will come. Zig Ziglar said that if you help enough people get what they want, and then in turn, in time, you'll get what you want. And if we can have that type of mentality, we can have that type of mindset in everything that we do. I'm talking about, folks, I'm talking about not just your career, not just your business, but in your relationships. I mean, even in your relationships, if you can, if I can help my wife get the things that she wants, man, you know she's gonna take care of me, right? And so that's how things work. If we can help enough people get the things that they want and things that are important to them, then in turn we'll get all the things that we desire. I mean, that's the way God did it. God even promises us that. And you don't have to depend on anybody. He says, I'll give you the desires of your heart. And I just believe that. And I think it all works together in terms of when we talk about God will, or that your gifts will make room for you. All of it works together. All things work to the good. And so, you know, continue. My encouragement in my, you know, if I wanted to, you know, say something to Chris, it's just keep chasing excellence. Do everything with excellence, just as you have been doing. Continue on that path, and everything that you desire, everything that God has for you, you will get it. You will get it. And I think that goes for all of us. That goes for everybody watching here tonight, is chase excellent. Be excellent. I'd rather do a few things and do them with excellent than to do a whole bunch of things and do them sloppy. And so, and then if you're multi-talented, I mean, and you can multitask, and I mean, I've seen Chris run, you know, 3 shows almost at one time, right? And so if you can multitask and do those type of things, that's awesome as well. So.
Well, Chris, man, you know, this has been really phenomenal, brother. What do you want to share with the viewing audience? You know, what you know, what's on your heart? You know, you've gone through a lot. You know, you and I, you know, and I know Tony, you know, have had some personal conversations with you, and you know, and you really, you know, are a man of integrity. You know, a man that is committed to making a difference. You know, you're a man of few words, but when you do speak, you know, I mean, you bring it. You know, and you know, so I love for you to share, you know, with the audience, man, any encouragement, you know, because, you know, you've seen friends, you know, make some other choices. You have seen things where, you know, wow, man, seize the opportunity, you know, and, you know, as Tony said, you know, E.T., Eric Thomas, you know, you saw that at the beginning, and then you saw, wow, you know, look at what has happened. But I love for you to share, you know, as the kickoff for 2021, you know, any words of wisdom, you know, any words of wisdom that you want to share, you know, with our viewing audience, because again, you know, your gifts will make room for you. And especially in this time when all that's going on in our world, is very important that, you know, we hear inspiration. You know, I got very inspired yesterday, you know, as far as, you know, what happened in Georgia, you know, with the 2 Democratic senators winning. You know, just, I mean, when you hear the story of the pastor's story, you know, being, I think, the 11th child of 12, you know, being on public assistance, and, you know, and now he's a senator, you know, and I believe, I want to say his grandmother, I want to say his mother, you know, she was picking cotton, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, and now, you know, she picked by her vote, you know, the senator, you know, her son, you know. And so I would love, man, for you just to share, you know, just anything that's on your heart, you know, with our viewers, as far as inspiration or nuggets of wisdom.
I mean, really, I keep it short. Like, believe in yourself. Don't be scared to be you. And really, like, believe in yourself. Because if you have a vision, if you have dreams, if you have goals, I mean, nobody else is really gonna believe them as much as yourself. And if you don't see them through, I mean, nobody else would ever be able to see what you once saw. So just believe in yourself, and just yeah.
Man,
nutshell.
I want to stamp an explanation point on that, because I think what holds some people back is that they're waiting for someone else to co-sign their vision. And so, they're waiting for someone else to give them the nod of a vision that God has already given them. And we're waiting for somebody to just really catch up with us and see it in the same passion that we see it. And there's going to be some things that God plants in your heart and in your mind and in your spirit that no one other than you and God are going to be able to really get there and see it and grasp it. They can come close, but sometimes we're waiting for someone to just be able to take it to the same passion we do. And we have a habit of jumping on a train when it's already moving. I mean, and so a lot of people don't have the passion to move that train, and they can't see it. They can't see it, right? Until it's landing. When this airplane takes off the ground, it's too late to get on board, right? And so we're waiting for everybody to get on board before we take off, and you can't do that. Sometimes you got to fly your own plane.
It's crazy as you said it, because you end up hurting yourself more if you try to get on the train when it starts moving than to just get on there and get your spot. and
But one of the things that we want to make sure we do is we want to make sure everybody does this. Make sure you go and you join our Facebook group. I know Chris will put that on there, but we have a Facebook group, a private group just for the Real Money Coach. We want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube page. Let's please put that in the chat box or on the screen, because we want to continue to bring great content to you. We want to bring great people like Chris Jackson, CJ the Gifted. We want to bring great people to you. So we need you to subscribe to our Real Money Coach channel. We need you to be a part of the Facebook group. We need you to be a part of this community and this movement. And I do want to do this. And it just dawned on me, legacy driven, a really great brother out of Texas. He has a workout apparel. So we want you to look that up, Google it, legacy driven. And when I first saw that, the name of it just hit me, right? Legacy driven. And I immediately bought my wife a workout shirt from him. She loves it. So I want to give a shout out to him. I saw him there. Join our Facebook group, because on Fridays, we will be posting Shout Out Your Business. So it's the time where we want you to come make one post. Now, then you can't come in and post that you got 5 or 6 businesses, but come in and post your business in our Facebook group so that other people know what you do. They can hook up with you. And so we open that up, and we encourage you to go and I can't remember, Chris, exactly what it says, but we want you to shout out your business on our Facebook page in our private group on Fridays. Fridays is the day that you shout out your business. We got Motivational Mondays. And so come be a part of it and be a part of this movement. And this thing is for real. This thing called Real Money Coach, y'all, it's going worldwide. It's going big in 2021. And the reason is because of the other 2 gentlemen that you saw on your screen today, Mr. Marlon Smith and Mr. Chris Jackson II. And so we are serious about this movement and about changing people's lives. We could sit back and do our normal thing, but what we want to do is we want to be a change agent, and we want to help people. We're going to be announcing our coaching program where you can get coaching. We're going to be announcing subscription to our Real Money Coach University and all these things, because there's one thing, there's this misconception that I could Google everything I want. But, when you Google, you're not necessarily getting unfiltered information. It's filtered by someone. It's not pure, unfiltered education. And so when you subscribe to the Real Money Coach, you're going to get real information that's not tainted by anyone's opinion. You're going to get the facts. If you sign up for coaching with us, you're going to get the coaching that you deserve. to help you. And what does a coach do? A coach doesn't play the game. What a coach simply does, a coach helps you to be your better self. A coach brings out of you the best parts of your game. A coach helps you accomplish the things that you're already able to accomplish. They don't do it for you. They're on the sidelines. They're cheering you on. When you're really in the game, the coach just cheers you on. And so that really even gets back to what Chris was talking about tonight, is your gift will make room for you. So what do we do when we coach? We're just helping you bring out your own gifts. And as you can see, we got the motivational with Marlon. We got, hey, listen, if you need coaching on this technology stuff, I'm like, say, man, Chris, you got to get my camera right, man. You got to get a microphone right. We got to get this thing. I got to be looking as good as you are on the screen. But we can even coach you on the technology part through the stream polls. As many of you know, we have credit repair through the Real Money Coach Credit Repair and Adrian. And so, listen, we're talking about complete financial wellness. That's what we're thriving for. If you need wills, you need that stuff. And so many times people come into the new year and they said, oh, these are the goals. These are my New Year resolutions. These are the goals. Well, all you got to do is really go out and take action. So the opportunities are there. Take action. Email us at the info@the-real money coach. Let us know if there's a way that we can help you. Marlon's already talked about his gift as a connector. If we are not able to help you, we can connect you with someone who can. If you have a business, if you have a dream and you need technology help, Chris, the Stream Tech Pro Guru is available. And the things that we don't have, real estate and mortgage brokers, we'll connect you with people that can help you with those things, because we want to make a difference in your life. And we want you to have this really great mindset and thoughts when you hear the Real Money Coach. When you hear the words, the Real Money Coach, we want you to have very positive feelings about what that is all about. And so we are here to serve. We are approaching 9 o'clock and I got on a little run here. But I hopefully you hear the sincerity of my heart that we want to make a difference for you. Again, I want to give a big shout out to Chris. He's always behind the scenes, putting this all together. I heard a guy one time, he said, my team just makes me look good. And that's what Chris does. He makes Marlon look good. He makes Tony look good. He makes the Real Money Coach look good. And he can make you look good too. Just hire him up. He got it. He takes a picture of me. I'm like, man, I didn't know I look like that, So he said, oh, well, he said, well, I had to Photoshop your picture, So, but he does it all. He does it all. And so he's an awesome guy. And you all are awesome. And Marlon always says this. He says, greatness is in you. And I believe that. I believe that greatness is in you. And so with that, welcome to the first show of 2021. Thank you for being a part of it. Come back next week. We have an awesome guest for us next week. I will announce it now. It is Coach Adams. Coach Adams will be our guest next week. She is a certified coach. John Maxwell, that's what I was looking for. John Maxwell, certified coach. So come be a part of the show. She's going to just drop some knowledge on us. We're excited about that. And then we have some other great guests that are lined up coming up as well. So with that, I bid you good night. God bless you. Stay safe. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and stay 6 feet away. We're not out of this yet, but God is bringing us through. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.